Hello, hello. All right, I have a chat today, so that's great. See? There's that. Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Gonna give it some time, let people roll in. All that fun stuff. Oh, hello, David. Hi, guys. Welcome in. Just gonna do an update here, but I'm gonna give it a couple of minutes for people to show up. Hey. Hi, Tony. I'm not used to calling you that, but that's what your name says, and I know that's you because I recognize the picture. I am doing okay. Doing pretty good right now. That might change tomorrow, though. We'll see. So where have I been? I think the last time I uploaded anything was in June. So it's been a while. Wait, was that the last time, or was that the last time I did a video? This is true. This is true. I think that was just live. Let's see. When did I go live last? Okay. Looks like no, it was. I'm showing the last one was June. My gosh. How? Wow. No. Has it really been that long? Hang on, I'm stuck. Anyway, what's been up with me? A lot, but also I'm 6 weeks post surgery right now from my feeding tube being put in, my umpteenth feeding tube, but my first surgical J tube. I have 2 feeding tubes now. One is for draining out my stomach, and one is for feeding me. I am completely like J tube dependent, feeding tube dependent right now. I get that's empty. Crap. Well, I guess you guys get to see what goes on here with feeding tube stuff. So, because it's failing me right now. You are empty. You're pulling nothing. And that didn't charge overnight? What the heck? Or is it just charging? Okay. Okay. You don't need to be charging. Let's see what it says. Okay. Let me fill this up real quick. So I'm filling up my flush for my feeding tube. We run a liter. We run about 1,700 mLs a day of water through it. So yeah, this is a 1 liter bag, so I have to refill it. Well, I guess I don't need to refill it all the way now that I do, because it's this second round. I only have about 8 hours left on this, maybe 6 hours, something like that. Anyway, there's my water. And this one is the tube feed. This one is, we got about, a couple more hours to go because I do 55 mils an hour, so about 6 hours, 6 or 7. Usually I go until I switch everything out at about 7 at night. But I have to real quick do a thing so that I can finish running this. We're gonna adjust settings. Okay. Clamp that off real quick. And I've got to run a prime. Oh yeah. Another one? Hey Dynasty, welcome in. I'm just gonna stick that in there. Hopefully it stays. Prime. What's the prime? We just got to get all the air out of the line because otherwise it will make my stomach not happy. Ah, okay. Interesting. I don't have a lot of air in it. My feeding tube line. I think that's good. Looks like it's running completely. All right, there we go. That was quick and easy. So, I don't know if I've ever showed you guys. Let's do that. I'll show you guys what it's like. I haven't shown this on YouTube, I don't think yet, but this is my feeding tube. So this is the pump that it runs through. It's called a Kangaroo Joey. This pump can run 2 lines. So I can do my feed, which is all of my calories, all of my nutrition, and then water. So it hydrates me. Caffeine is addiction. That really isn't fun. This is true. It's not a cheap addiction either. Coffee or energy drinks are expensive. Coffee's not cheap. Yeah. But this is the stuff. It runs down into the pump, and then this longer line runs into me. So yeah, I get about 55 mils an hour through the feed, and then we get 70 mils of water every hour. But it goes in a flush, which is a bit faster. And so every hour it flushes. It goes into a flush cycle, and it flushes 70 mils of water through my line. This also helps keep it from clogging. So flushing your line is extremely important because formula is very sticky and thick and so flushing your line is super important when it comes to feeding tubes. Kind of similar with an IV, which I need to get started on actually. I am still on my IV fluids as well. So yeah, we are struggling a little bit with hydration since I stopped my TPN, my IV nutrition, just because we were getting about 3 liters of fluids in IV a day. Now we're down to the feed is technically hydration, but it doesn't do as much hydrating as it does just nutrition. So I'm kind of on the struggle bus with it because it's less actual water in there. So I'm needing to adjust how I am hydrating because I'm noticing I'm not peeing as much, and when I do pee, it's really dark. It's just not great. So we got to up the hydration. What did I do with my vape? I keep losing it. I always lose my vape. So. Nothing. But there it is. Coffee is the best. I love coffee. Anyway, so kind of where we're at right now is so 6 weeks post-op. At 2 weeks post-op, I had an appointment, went and got my kind of the plan of how things are going to go from here. And we got my staples out. So right before we got my staples out, right after surgery, I noticed there was a lot of drainage from my incision, and I was kind of concerned about it. They're like, it's okay, blah, blah, blah. Well, at the bottom of my incision, there was a little opening just below the last staple where it was just draining. And and then at the top, there was this kind of bulge. When we took the staples out, that kind of just created not created a problem necessarily, but it allowed the problem that was going on to open. So needless to say, my incision just opened up. There is a huge spot on the top that just opened up. It was about 1.5 inches long by about 1 inch deep and 1 inch wide. So it was a pretty big hole. So I have been packing that wound for weeks now. It's starting to look really good though. We're having improvement. I knew immediately when it started opening up, I knew you have to pack it because when I had one of my earlier surgeries, my whole incision opened up. My 12-inch long incision, they had to open it up. They took all the staples out, opened the whole thing up. So it heals from the inside out. And I knew how to pack it because of that. So this was not new to me. So I started immediately packing it. The only thing we've changed up was when I was in the hospital a few weeks ago. Yes, I was in the hospital. I'll get to that. We started packing it with something that has like antimicrobial. It's a silver-based gauze thing that I pack it with. So, but it is looking really good. At least it was 2 days ago. I change the dressing every 2 days, and today is that day. In a little while, I will take all my dressings off and go take a shower because I have a procedure tomorrow. So I get to look at it and see how it's doing and repack it. But so far, it's been doing amazingly. These things take forever to heal, especially when you have connective tissue disease like me, which is partly why it opened up, by the way. Because with my connective tissue disease, every time you go into an incision, the tissues become weaker. And this one has been opened up like 13 times. So it's much weaker than it used to be. And with connective tissue disease rearing its ugly head in my life, it's even worse. So it takes a long time. But the incision is doing great. I'm not on pain meds anymore. For the last 2 weeks, I've been on like either once a day, once every couple days, like as neat. Like if I was just really struggling, I would take some pain meds. But I am officially done pain meds. I'm out. No more. So yeah. And a couple days ago, as I was hitting the dog's in here. Get out, America. You want? I'm hitting the 6-week mark tomorrow, so it's kind of time I can start doing things. And I have a live camera going, by the way. Oh, here, I'll turn it away so I can't see you. I mean, I don't have pants on, but okay, yeah, but this is supposed to be like your clusters. That was what. Here, you can have those. Here. They're sour gummy worms, though. Those are too hard. I don't like crunchy candy. Well, that's what a freeze-dried gummy worm is like. Okay. I don't like it. Also, when that goes in my body, it makes it more sour almost because it's bigger. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I want to try freeze-dried Skittles though. Are you bringing a lump of fluff to me? Yeah. No, therapy's at 4. They kind of do the same thing that rice does. Like they go okay, but not something I will. It was worth a try. Yeah, I have to drink it. Crap. I found the bags. They were in the bottom back of my cup. That one's lemon. No, it's not. No, it's not. Lemon, vanilla flower. You said lemon. I was like, I smelled that. It is not lemon. Yeah, I know. It's annoying. Charleston Chews freeze dried are like styrofoam. Interesting. I've never tried this. I haven't really tried freeze dried candy much. But anyway, I did an oops a few days ago and lifted something that was 40 pounds. I did the cat litter. His roommate's kind of getting frustrated of having to do everything, so he's like, "You do it yourself. You're healed enough to do it." I tried to tell him, "Not quite. I need to wait." and ease into things, but he was stubborn. And I strained a muscle in my abdomen. So I am back on lifting restrictions and back on no twisting and turning and doing things to aggravate it. So I'm pretty much resting again for the next couple of weeks till this muscle heals. It hurts like heck. And it's the muscle like that goes along the it basically goes along the line of the tube, like here. This is my tube, by the way. It goes from like here down to there. I mean, I always have a pacifier in bed with me. I always have blankets. Oh, I have to start my phone back up. It beeping at me. It beeps at me if I don't start it back up. Let me make sure I'm not kinked. Okay. I did just finish filming a diaper review, by the way, guys. So this should be up any minute now. It just decided to take for freaking ever to upload and finish processing. So it should be up. So yeah, after this you can go watch that. My 2 cents on the new rears stuff that they did with the mega diapers. Which pacifier today, if it's okay to ask? I always have. I mean, the cat just knocked it down. Oh no, it's right here. This is the pacifier. This is right now the one I use daily, all the time. I'm very much a use a pacifier pretty much till it's dead type of person. And I have favorites. I have like 30 pacifiers, but I have one that I primarily use, and it's this one. That's one of my nicknames for my big. But we designed this one together. It is my favorite. I struggle using other ones because I don't do well changing up pacifiers because the nipple feels different. Like no nipple feels the same. Kai is a coffee bean. That's my nickname. Hence the coffee beans and the little bean thing. That's just my nickname is Little Coffee Bean because I'm a coffee addict, even though I don't get caffeine effects anymore. But I always have a binky and my blankies around, and they're right here. So I was using a bottle for a while. The only reason I'm not using one right now is because it's in the other room and I have to clean it, and I'm lazy. And just I wasn't up to going and searching in the room to find it. It's in my old room. Oh, that's an update. I moved bedrooms. We switched me back to the bigger bedroom from the little one because it was just too tiny. And stuff like that. So I'm in the bigger bedroom, which was my craft room. We're working on organizing and moving things around. Aw, thank you. But we're working on moving things around and getting this place organized because it was the catch-all room for so long. So, but yeah. Anyway, so we're up to right now. I'm doing pretty good outside of this muscle thing. I'm doing really, really good. Tube feeds are going really well. I'm at my goal rate. I have been for a couple of weeks now. We did have a lot of snafus with insurance, a bit and like getting it started because I was told when I was in the hospital after I got my tube put in, oh yeah, we'll be able to get your feed to you. You know, insurance covers it 100%. I get home and I get a call and they're like, so you're on TPN as well as tube feeds. They're not going to cover both at the same time. So we kind of ran into okay, we've got to stop TPN and get on tube feeds. So in the meantime, while they were not covering it, we had to get my goal rate, my feeding tube up to my goal rate in order to stop TPN. Because otherwise then I would be going back into malnutrition issues. So what we were doing during that time was I was buying Ensure and using that. It's nowhere near the right amount of calories or anything like that. But we knew as soon as we got me off TPN, we could get tube feeds. And so I went on Ensure. We got up to my goal rate. We talked to the pharmacist. We talked to my doctor. Everybody's like, sure, let's get you off the TPN so we can get you all the way on tube feeds. You're doing really well with the tube feeds. your blood work has been stable, so let's just go ahead and stop the TPN. That was a bad idea. Only because we didn't have the actual tube feed that I needed. We were using Ensure. And we ran into the problem of my potassium tanked to a critical level. Like, you can't be at home critical level. I became weak and dizzy to the point of I could barely hold my head up. I couldn't stand up hardly to change a diaper without nearly fainting. My heart rate was crazy. Like, it was not good. I ended up at the ER because I was like, something's wrong. And I didn't know it was my potassium. I thought I was just having like a really bad POTS flare, not hydrated enough. No, my potassium had tanked because I was on 140 milliequivalents of potassium through my IV. When we took that away, and Ensure is not meant to be a full source of nutrition, so there's not much potassium in it. So when we took that away, it dropped. So I was in the hospital for 2 days. They were giving me constant IV potassium. Well, not constant, but they were giving me IV potassium. And what we were noticing is it was still low. So they were checking my blood work every morning, and it was still low. What we came to find out was that it was getting up to a normal level, but then overnight it would tank because they weren't running potassium overnight. They'd run 4 bags, which is the normal amount to run. They'd run 4 bags. And then we'd check it in the morning, but it kept dropping. So what they did was put me on a potassium through my J tube, because your body absorbs potassium through your intestine. That's where it affects the body the best. So they're like, let's get it into your intestine, see what it does. We'll give you a dose. We'll check you this afternoon after, your dose, after a little while after your dose, and see how it's doing. And they found that my potassium was going to a normal level. So what I'm doing now is I keep forgetting it, but I'm doing potassium in the morning, potassium at night. I've been doing that for a couple weeks now, or a week now, or something like that. I don't know. However long I've been home from the hospital. And I've been stable. Now, last Monday, not this past Monday, but the one before that, was my first round of blood work home from the hospital. So I experimented a little bit on purpose, but in a way not on purpose. So my nurse comes around 10:30. Normally, I don't get up and get out of bed until about noon because I'm up all night. Then I sleep from like 6 to noon, usually sometimes 8 to noon. Not very long. But anyway, she came in at 10:30. So I had not taken my potassium yet, and she checked my blood work. I just talked to my pharmacist yesterday at the infusion center and asked him, because when my nurse comes in here and draws it, she drops it off to the local hospital. Their system is not linked with the other hospital that I go to, so I don't get to see the blood work. But I asked him what it was, and he said last week when she drew my blood, it was at a 4.1, which is a normal level. 3.5 to, I think, 5.5 is normal. I was at a 2.8 or a 2.7 the day before I left the hospital. So it's up. And that being at 4.1 when I had not taken potassium means I'm doing really good on keeping that level. But that is also because we finally are on my actual tube feed, and it has lots of potassium in it. I get a lot of potassium out. So I have a feeling we're going to be able to stop the potassium. I'm kind of experimenting with that a little bit on my own right now, just because I want to know. No, Bean is not a nickname for anybody but my partner. Yeah. I have one friend who calls me Little Bean. He actually started the nickname. He calls a lot of people Little Beans, but my partner turned that into Little Coffee Bean. But he's the only one that calls her. She's the only one that calls me that. So, yeah. Typically, I go by Kai. There's not many nicknames for Kai. I have a couple of friend-specific nicknames that only they call me. But typically, yeah, I don't really have many nicknames for Kai. A couple people call me Kai Kai. I did just get changed, Yuki, because I was filming a video, and yeah, that video is up, by the way. But anyway, so Yeah, potassium's starting to stay stabilized. I'm feeling so much better. Like being on tube feed is far and away better than IV nutrition. I have way more energy when I'm on tube feeds versus energy from TPN. Like I can go out in public. It kills me. I sleep the rest of the time. I can go to the store and I'm okay. And I just have I'll show you a little bit of my gear for it. I was a smart bean. With my IV nutrition, I was carrying a backpack around all the time. I had one that was meant specifically for tube feeds and for IV infusions. It was handmade by somebody who was also chronically ill, not handmade, but they designed it. I decided to go a little bit of a different route because of the surgery. I can't lift anything more than 10 pounds. I can't lift. And tube feeds, when you're carrying around 2 liters of fluids, why are you yelling at me? I started you. Oh. There we go. Now it's started. I decided to go with a rolling backpack. This one can be turned into a regular backpack if you wanted it to. You just have to unscrew it a little bit, but you can also put this on. This goes down. You can carry it. It's not the most comfortable to carry on your back, obviously, but I don't usually carry it on my back. The only time I put it on my back is if I'm around the dog because she likes to get stuck in my tubes. So I use this. It's got like lots of room, lots of pockets. It fits everything really good. And I just roll it around. So I may switch to something I carry once I'm a little more healed from my surgery, but this works really good for now. Yeah, but it is somewhat cumbersome sometimes to have to roll it. But either way, for now this works. I don't have to carry and lift this because it can get like over 10 pounds. So this has been a really nice addition. It was like $50. It already broke. There's like a plate in the back here, and then this side it broke off. But I don't use that side really, so it's not a big deal. But yeah. Plus my roommate could fix that if I really wanted him to. But that's my setup right now. I do IV infusions still. Those fit in there. Like everything fits. Diapers, syringes, EpiPens, wallet, phone, everything goes in there. So it works out perfect. I'm going to real quick put my heating pad on because my back is killing me. That has been one thing. My back is killing me lately. Yeah. Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm not answering that. All right. That brings us up to right about now. And I mentioned I have a procedure tomorrow. This is going to be a procedure that happens every 3 months, and it's a tube change. So you have to replace your tube. Different doctors say different things. My doctor, my surgeon likes to do it every 3 months to avoid any issues with the tubes. My previous tube, my G tube that I use for draining, which I would show you, but it's kind of gross. But I had to demonetize this because I knew my tubes were going to show, and YouTube really does not like it when I show my tubes. But this is my G tube. This is my drain. Nice air bubble just went through. You can see it. I don't know if you guys can see that draining or not, but you can't. But it's draining. It drains anything I eat, I drink, or stomach bile because all of it makes me throw up. If I take this off even for like half an hour, I'm gonna throw up. I tried going out in public yesterday without it. I ended up opening up the tube into a puke bag so that it could drain because I could not hold it. I'm like, nope, I'm gonna. This is my G tube, and then down here is my J tube. So drain, feed, stomach, intestine. This one is healed up enough so I can use these cute little tubey pads, and I'll show you some of those in a minute. This one, because I'm not at the 6-week mark until tomorrow, I'm not allowed to use tubey pads. You have to use gauze. That changes tomorrow after I get home. I'm excited about that because it makes it a lot better when I can use the tubey pads. They're just so much easier, so much nicer. But yes, tomorrow I go in for my tube change. This red one that you're seeing, this is a temporary tube. It's called a Red Robin. I absolutely hate it because of this. So this so with most feeding tubes nowadays, there are what is called an ENFit. They're an ENFit connection, which is like you screw it in. So like this little purple piece, this purple piece screws in and out. It is currently attached to this. This is called a Christmas tree. So these pop out all the time. As you can see, I have it taped because this thing pops out all the time from any type of pressure. So if it kinks off and it's building up pressure, this is going to pop out and I'm going to feed the bed or I'm going to puke on the bed. Yeah, it's bad. I hate it. So tomorrow that changes. I go to an ENFit tube. Legacy tubes will probably happen, but just for my drain. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't want to have to switch to an ENFit for my drain because it makes draining a lot harder. But they were having problems. The reason there's the two different tubes is they were having problems at one point with people accidentally like putting tube feed connections into like trachs or trying to get it into an IV, stuff like that. They were having problems where people were mixing up the connections. So they're starting to make all those different connections completely different from each other, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, I understand why people died because of this. So ENFit tubes are way nicer for me. They are a lot more reliable as far as like problems with feeding the bed and things like that. So yeah. But I go in tomorrow at noon for that procedure. I will be under general anesthetic because I don't do conscious sedation. My body does not uh, take it. I stay wide the heck awake. None of the meds work. They have to give me propofol and put me to sleep. Bye. So I don't know why. Like they tried this tube the last time they, not the last time, but the time before this one, and they put this tube in the G tube. They did it with conscious sedation. So they shot my belly full of lidocaine and gave me fentanyl and Versed, which for a lot of people put them pretty far out. But for me, it's nothing. And lidocaine does not really work on me unless it's in mass quantities, like dangerous for your heart level of quantities. Because of my connective tissue disease, meds do not work the same. So, given my medical trauma, given the fact that conscious sedation does not work, they just put me out. And I have the world's greatest IR team. They're fucking amazing. It's kind of funny because they are almost protective of me. It's kind of funny. They really like when I went in last time with my line, when I went into the hospital for my surgery, my line started like falling out a bit. My other line, I'm back to a port now, by the way, guys. But the line that was over here started to come out. It was so funny when IR heard because they like called my nurse like, who messed up for their line? Blah 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 blah. It was doing so well. Like who messed it up? And nobody did. It just started coming out. It had fallen out about 3 centimeters, and at that point, it's a little much. Um, like a certain amount of it, you can let it go, but once that's a little much, so they had to replace it because it was also not giving blood properly. It wasn't flushing properly, like it wasn't running properly, so we ended up having to replace it 2 days after this surgery. I had this surgery. Mind you, this one didn't hurt really compared to this. Like I barely had any pain from this. It was like achy for a couple days. My body's getting used to it. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this port lasts, knock on freaking wood, for many, many years now. Because every time you do a line, you scar up the vein more and it becomes harder to put in a new line. So we want this one to last. And right now it's doing beautifully. It's only a few weeks, it's less than or it's almost 6 weeks old. But it's doing great. So I'm glad I'm already accessed for tomorrow. It makes life so much easier to have this port than to get an IV. Like they can't even get IVs anymore. It's ridiculous. But Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at. All in all, I'm doing pretty good. Obviously, I'm still, you know, not a normal level human yet. I'm still dropping weight like crazy. Hang on, I gotta answer that. Fell asleep. What I missed? Not much. You've heard all this. Yeah, I gotta respond to Hannah. Um, but yeah, so things are going really good. Like I said, I'm dropping weight. However, my body has been doing that every time I go back on tube feeds. Like I'm getting enough nutrition. I probably at some point will have to go up on calories because I'm only at I think 1,600 right now. Okay. Um, so but I am dropping weight. I am down almost 100 pounds. We're down 90 pounds from where I was in October. That is crazy to believe. Like I went from 340 and I'm currently 252. So we're only 12 pounds away from 100 pounds, which is what I put on when this all started 3 years ago. Almost 3 years ago. Wow, it's almost 3 years. Holy shit. Wow. Started in 2020, I think. Or was it 2019? I'll have to go back and look. But yeah, so which my body I both need to not lose weight and to lose weight. Like I'm okay losing the weight because I need to get down to a healthy weight for my body. Being that big was not good for my body and it was not a case of overeating. It was literally my body was in starvation mode and I was constantly gaining water weight from all of my allergic reactions. So the fact that I'm dropping weight is both good and bad. But I am getting the proper nutrition. My blood work looks great. I believe that it's showing I'm out of malnutrition. I could be wrong on that one. I'd have to go look at my last hospital blood work and see what my pre-albumin and albumin levels were, which are the indicators of malnutrition. But like all of my stuff is showing stable right now, so that's amazing. Um, I'm doing really, really well. Like all things considered, I'm doing as best as I possibly can. Now it's all about just rebuilding strength, rebuilding stamina, getting to a point where I'm okay again. I'm not passing out like crazy like I was. We're getting a handle on everything. So we're there's things are never going to be normal. Like for I'm never going to be a normal human being. I'm always going to be sick. Gastroparesis can go into remission, but it's rare. Mast cell can go into remission. Once again, rare. And POTS can come and go a little bit to some degree. But for having all of these conditions, I'm as stable as I could possibly be right now, given the circumstances. Hi, Sean. But I am very, very happy with where things are at right now, and we're just in that rebuild phase. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. Unable to transcribe message. That's what I found. But yeah, so hopefully tomorrow goes well, and that I don't have any problems. Uh, I am dealing like the only downside to my tube right now is I'm dealing with something called granulation tissue, which is basically like very vascular new skin growth almost, and it's a painful process. It burns a lot. It hurts, and unfortunately, with my J tube, it pretty much started instantly. With my G tube, I didn't have any granulation tissue until I had trauma to when the dog tried almost pulled out my tube. That's when the granulation tissue started. So I'm kind of bummed, but it is part of having a feeding tube. So I'm not too worried about it. It's not too bad right now. So yeah, we're really kind of at that point where we can just kind of start coasting and just working on rebuilding. There's a chance that I might get into PT at some point, um, just to really work on muscle growth and stuff like muscle building and things like that, you know. But for now, we're like tomorrow is my only doctor appointment this month, um, and I'm watching the clock by the way because I have a therapy appointment at 4. But I was checking time for that. But yeah, hello dogs. You're not. Yeah, out you go. You're crazy today. But yeah, we're kind of at that point where things are stabilizing. You know, I'm not going to see the doctor all the time like I was. I'm not. You know, I'll be in every 3 months for a tube change and seeing nutritionists and stuff like that as needed. But I'm doing really really good. So yeah, I'm happy. Hi mustard. No, there's no dog food cans. Out of the garbage. Dogs. Dogs might be the bane of my existence. Oh, update on kitty cats. Kitty cats are doing amazing. Simon is my snuggle bug. He pretty much is around me most of the time. Right now he's in the other room on his cat tree, which will be moving in here for too long. Um, but he goes in there a lot when the dogs are down here, so that he's up high and away from them. He hates the dogs still, absolutely hates the dogs. But he is my snuggle bug. He is pretty much on top of me. How is wrist? Wrist is fucked. Yes, I saw that. I do wear diapers. I am incontinent. After 12 abdominal surgeries in that area, you kind of just, my nerves died. But no, Yuki, wrist is still pretty fucked up. I don't even do much writing because it causes it to go numb and wonky and stuff like that. But which really sucks. Like I'm doing some stuff with it, but it's still like from here to here, it's still completely numb. It feels so weird if I touch it. Like it's still completely numb. Nerves can take years to heal. Thankfully, it's not a dead nerve, but it's definitely been fucked up. So, Lyrica, what are you doing? You guys, there's no cans in here. I can put up the gate to keep them out, but she jumps the gate. Lyrica's big enough that she can just jump. She can practically walk over the thing. Mustard's just not agile. He's just too lazy. He's like, I don't care enough. If he can jump into the car with the seat folded down when he's wanting to, he could easily make that. Oh yeah, she can practically walk over the damn thing now. She's so big. She's like, she's not even actually that big. She's just big. She's big though. She's only 90 pounds. Only 90 pounds. Yes, but some dogs. She's a fucking great Dane. No, but she's big. She's a big dog. She is in no way small. She is half my weight almost. Well, no. 90 pounds. Yeah, I'm still at 2. Off with that one. But she's a big dog. I mean, she's German Shepherd Husky or something, probably Malamute Malinois. I was about to say it. The big versions of those two dogs. Malinois. Not the ones I've seen. No, that's not male. He was huge. He was like at least a couple inches taller than Lyrica. Inches? No. Then the dog we're thinking that we're thinking is not a mouse. Height. So their height is about the same, and
actually about the same.
Yeah.
But German Shepherds are just built bulkier, whereas Malinois.
Yeah. But with Huskies and Malamutes are bulkier and bigger.
I don't want to say it's short.
Mm-mm. I have never seen a very short Malamute. They're usually like German Shepherd height or bigger. Did she just fart?
Yes, she did.
I heard that. Erica.
I'm sorry you have gas time, but you're not gonna just run around the back.
Oh, I figured he was asleep because she's been down here the whole time you were gone.
No, you watch your shows, but because you have to do walk on my schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. For the most part. She gets into the kitchen a bit. She's big though. But yeah, she's a Malinois. Probably Malinois Malamute mix, which is like big German Shepherd and big Husky. But she has the coloring of a Malinois. But she has the she's an extremely active dog, and quite frankly, I do not agree with them adopting her because they are not training her properly. They're not exercising her properly. She's a dog, the type of dog that needs to be active for like 10 hours a day. Like, she's a working dog. She wants things to do. She wants tasks. She needs entertainment. She needs stimulation. They don't give it to her. I grew up with it. I'm the only one of us that actually had a German Shepherd growing up. We always had German Shepherds growing up, and they require a really good training and really good exercise. And pretty much we've stopped going to the DOG because she is a little bit resource guarding, and they aren't working on it. So she doesn't go to the dog park because she resource guards, and then people get all uppity about it. And it's ridiculous. It's sad. It breaks my heart. Like, the fact that they adopted her, and like they were doing really good at first, and then they just dropped the ball. She's not trained. She doesn't know how to sit, or she knows how to sit. She doesn't know anything but sit. She does come when she's called for the most part, like, but like around here when she gets in and out of the car, she bolts. So we have to like take her on a leash. But like if we're at the dog park and we call her, she comes running. But no one takes her anymore. So she's got, and their solution is okay, just take the things she guards away. And it's like, no, you're supposed to train on that. You know. So that's my 2 cents. But this is also why I stick to cats. Cats are a lot easier to manage. You don't have to train them outside of a litter box, really. You can. Leo knows how to sit on command. Um, Simon's a little too derpy for that. He's still autistic as hell. He's still not aware of where he is in space, but he is a sweetheart. And so Leo's gotten really snuggly. Like as of late, the last few months, he's just really become this snuggly ball of fur. He still hates being picked up. He still hates getting his nails clipped, but he's become much more snuggly. Like he'll just come in here and snuggle. He doesn't snuggle for long. Like Simon will snuggle for hours. Leo does not. Do any of us really know where we are in space? But I mean, his spatial awareness in general is hilarious. Like Simon, just like you'll reach out your hand to pet him, but like he'll see you coming the minute you start reaching, and he thinks your hand is above him on like near, like right there near him. So he'll arch his back like way ahead of time. He falls off of things. it's kind of funny. He just doesn't understand where he is in relation to other things. So I call him autistic as heck. He's also just he's autistic, and it's cute, and I love him. He is my baby. He is so sweet. Like he got to meet Chloe in May, and he loved them, which I was shocked about. Like he is getting so much more friendly with people. He still hates Hannah. Like, he won't let Hannah hardly touch him. But every other person, like Chloe, he let pet him within a day or two. Another friend visited. He let her pet him in a day or two. My friend Autumn, he lets her pet him when I'm not here. Like he's really coming around. He is such a good kitty. I absolutely adore him. But yeah. In other news, Chloe and I had our 1 year anniversary this month. We have officially been dating for a year. I find that crazy because it seems like we started dating 5 minutes ago, yet it also seems like we've been together forever. And we're happy as can be. We cannot wait for them to move here. Hopefully next year. We are still saving up for that. We suck at saving. We have about 114 in the GoFundMe right now. And we're really going to crack down on saving probably not next month, but because Chloe's going to be in the US and whatnot. But we're going to really crack down on saving money, this fall so that we can get them here and get a place of our own. So, update on the moving situation. I am currently not moving away. Looking into the medical stuff with moving was just too much for right now when I'm not incredibly stable. I'm stable, but at the time, recovering from surgery, I would be having to pack up right now. I'd be moving out in a month. And switching over medical care right now is just not something I can do. In a few months, when I'm a little bit more stable, that is still a possibility. But right this moment, it's just not feasible. We have worked out an agreement with the people I live with. We have all kind of signed a contract. We have worked on things a bit. Things are going okay. And whatnot. However, it still feels kind of like it's held over my head if I even think about doing something that's, outside of the agreements we've made, then I'm out. Like that's the kind of way it feels. So probably in the next couple of days, I'm going to be printing off and filling out an application for housing assistance. And hopefully, because I am disabled and stuff, I will get priority. I'm not sure how that works. I've heard that that's kind of how it works, but I'm not totally sure on that. So we're going to start that process so that, and we're in the process of getting an aid as well. We're just kind of waiting to hear about approval and stuff like that and whatnot. So once I have an aid and stuff like that and can move out on my own, that's something that will happen. Whether or not I stay in Kansas remains to be seen. But right now, I'm not moving. We are trying to move out of this apartment into a mobile home that's over by Andrew's work. Like it's a brand new mobile home area. They're still building, putting them in type of deal. Like it's a brand new place. We're trying to rent there. Andrew and Hannah wanted to buy one. It's not going to work out for them to buy right now, but this place does rent. So we're looking at hopefully renting there. If we can get it done, set up before we have to, re-sign leases and stuff here. We would like to get out of this place. This place is pretty run down. It's not great. There's like a rotting hole in the windowsill in the living room. Every time it rains, my window gets flooded. Like literally the other day, there was rain pouring in my window. It's in a lot of disrepair. It's not been kept up real great. So, and they did recently sell to a new owner in the last year. and they've made some changes that we really just don't like. And we've never really liked this apartment complex. It was just cheap. But they're consistently raising prices just like they always do, you know. But for the price we're paying here, like, we could pay a bit more and get a really decent place with a yard. So, like, it's not gonna be a big yard. It's a trailer park. It's a mobile home area, so it's not gonna be a big yard, but it's a yard. And it's the type of thing where it's like we can do what we want to do. You know, there's not as many restrictions. There's not as many. You know, it's better. So that's kind of what we're hoping. Otherwise, we'll be re-signing the lease here for another either 6 months or a year. I don't know. It depends on a few things. If we can get the money for application fees and things like that, then we will be moving. It's just a matter of the other two people actually managing money properly to get to moving point. But yeah. We'll have to see how that goes. Either way, I'm along for the ride for now. Which is good because I just couldn't mentally moving right now just was not something I could do. And, you know, like I told them, if I stay, I can get in therapy. If I stay, I can become stable. Like, if I were to move to Ohio right now, I would have to come back every 3 months for my tube changes. I would have to do all my health. Like, I'd have to schedule all my appointments for that time frame, you know, and I'd have to work on getting into doctors over there, which is not easy to do. Like, finding a doctor that's willing to work with somebody so complicated like I am is not easy. Finding all the specialists that'll do the same thing that I've been doing. Like, a lot of GI doctors will not they don't treat gastroparesis the same as mine has. You know, a lot of them give people a hard time about IVs, and so switching right now just wasn't really doable. And it was a situation of like every 3 months coming back from Ohio. It's a 9-hour trip every 3 months and being here for almost a week. Like, that's a lot. And I don't want to put that on the person that I'd be living with because I really can't travel by my own. And I'd have to come stay with Andrew and Hannah or something, you know. So it's a lot. It's really a lot. So right now it's just not doable. Anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close things up for now. If you've been sitting in here, I have a video that I just uploaded. I reviewed the Dino Mega diaper again because they made some changes recently. Go check that out. And I'm going to go take a rest and maybe play some video games. Play on my Switch for a bit. I don't know. I'm tired today. I need to go get my fluids started because I can feel the dehydration, so I need to go get that going. Maybe make a snack. I don't know. I like to eat still. I have to drain it, but eating just makes me happy. So, yeah, I still do it a little bit. I just don't consume it in the way that most people, I don't digest it, so it just gets drained out. But, yeah, anyway, I will be back another time for an update when there's stuff to update. Fingers crossed everything goes well tomorrow. And yeah, thank you guys so much for all the support and everything. I really do appreciate you guys. I know I've been really quiet lately, but just haven't had the energy. But I'm getting that energy back, even if it's for short spurts. I'm getting it back. Hopefully, you know, at some point in the next year, I will be back to working on binkies and things like that. I'm not going to go back anytime soon, just because my body's not ready for that. And it'll also be really interesting to see if my reactions pick up more when I start doing that. Because my reactions have been a lot less. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go for the day, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with me, and I will see you all later. Bye, guys.